तो फिर शुरू करें ये हम लोगों को कैसे मैनेज कर सकते हैं और हाउ डू वी विन एट वर्क रिलेशनशिप्स। हमारे साथ हैं लाइफ कोच तस्नीम और हम बात करेंगे आज इस बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक के बारे में, क्योंकि जो जैसे मैंने अभी कहा वर्क प्लेस पे जो होता है वो घर पे भी होता है और हम लोगों को मैनेज करने की बड़ी कोशिश करते हैं। वो सुनते हैं, कभी कभी नहीं सुनते। सो सेम डील। सो आर्ट है या साइंस है, but it is one of the most difficult things that we will do, and that is managing people.
Bilkul, because I feel it's something that, touches all of our lives, whether you manage a team, lead a project, work alongside somebody, or as you said, work alongside others at home. We are constantly managing people, and sometimes it does get messy. But here's a twist to today's show. We are not here to give you a corporate manual. We're not here to give you those have more meetings and communicate more, because I think wo sab हमें पता है और हम इंटरनेट पे जाके वो सब फाइंड आउट कर सकते हैं. आज आई थिंक इज फॉर मी अबाउट शोइंग you a mirror, and in the process obviously showing ourselves a mirror as well, because I feel that if we can change ourselves, दुनिया तो जैसी है वैसी रहेगी, और इंशाल्लाह we all feel inspired to bring the change that we want to see, and if each of us does it for themselves, I feel collectively then we will inshallah see the change that we want to see. So today is about exploring what it is that we can do differently within ourselves, with our teams, with the people that we work with, and see where we can go from there. And just like always, since we start off with a question right off the bat, which gets your brain cells moving and thinking, the question I have for you today, that I would like to start the show off with, is that if your team, and your team now could be in your workplace team or the people that you manage at home or wherever it is, if your team could choose their manager every Monday morning, would they choose you?
Radio Azad team, I hope you've tuned in.
And if your colleagues, because this is also for a colleague to colleague relationship, if your colleague could pick their teammate, their seatmate for the week, would they pick you? So I want you to sit with that and for a second think about it, that would your team or colleague pick you every Monday as their manager or as their teammate?
That's a very interesting question. How do we know the answer to that, though?
और शायद ये एक रिफ्लेक्टिव क्वेश्चन हो और आपको उसका आंसर ऑन एयर ना देना हो, दे सकते हो, तो वी वुड अप्रिशिएट इट. बट यस, इट्स समथिंग दैट योर कॉन्शियसनेस विल ऑलवेज नो. ट्रस्ट मी, इट विल नो. इट विल नो इफ इट्स अ मे बी. यार शायद थोड़े बहुत लोग मुझे चूज करेंगे बट सारे नहीं करेंगे. सो वी गोना एक्सप्लोर दैट कि व्हाई सारे नहीं कर रहे हैं. और अगर कोई भी नहीं कर रहा है तो आपको वो अंदर कोई ना कोई कोने ऑफ योर हार्ट में पता होगा कि यार पता नहीं, आई जस्ट डोंट हैव अ स्ट्रॉन्ग फीलिंग दैट कोई भी मुझे चूज करेगा. देन अगेन दैट्स अ ह्यूज wake up call, that why is that so? And alhamdulillah, if you know kind of think that, oh yes, my family is going to choose me any day, my team is going to choose me any day, my colleague that I sit next to every day is going to choose me for sure, then good. Then I want you to share what makes you feel that.
Well, I'll tell you right off the bat that I would choose you any day.
Aw. That's perfect. Well, because that we know that Wednesday to Wednesday, there's no double shot that works better than our double shot.
Yes.
So alhamdulillah for that. We have a caller to kick off the show. Let's see who's on the air.
Radio Azad, you're on the air.
जी आयशा एंड तस्नीम, मैंने कहा मुझे डबल शॉट पीना पड़ेगा आज का प्रोग्राम सुनने के लिए.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. आज हम डबल शॉट पी के आए.
अच्छा, आप पीछे आए तो मैंने देर कर दी.
जी.
अच्छा, मैं आप दोनों से सवाल करूंगी कि हर जगह कुछ प्रॉब्लमेटिक लोग होते हैं. मैं जवाब देने से पहले तस्नीम का सवाल का, और वहां पे either they are goofy, they don't understand, उनका perception, उनका interpretation, जो भी कह ले. So they sometimes they become rebellion, बिल्कुल कि उनकी बात नहीं सुनी जा रही, उनको हम follow नहीं कर रहे, and they think in their own imagination that they are right and they know everything. और मैंने ऐसे लोगों को कहा है जो सेल्फ मेड स्टोरीज बना के उस पर बिलीव भी करते हैं और वो प्रोपगेट भी करते हैं और बहुत जबरदस्त तरीके से माइंड मैनिपुलेशन करके. एंड आई हैव सीन दैट माई सेल्फ माई एक्सपीरियंस. सो मैं ये कहूंगी जो इजी गोइंग है, मैं अपने सवाल का जवाब तस्नीम में दूंगी कि कुछ लोग, because if you stand for the right thing, you speak honestly, you tell the truth, most of the people, they play hypocritically, थोड़ा सा borderline रहते हैं, बोलते नहीं है साफ, so they would not like me. So if I say something, I say from my heart. लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं बहुत ही bluntly किसी को hurt करते हुए कहूँ. I'm very soft spoken, but I have learned to be very firm. So that's why people who are honest and they know me, they will welcome me anytime. But those there are, और हर जगह ऐसे लोगों से पाक साफ नहीं होती. कुछ लोग फेंस पे बैठे होते हैं, कुछ लोग बहुत ऑनेस्ट और स्टैंड लेने वाले, और कुछ होते हैं मुनाफिक, बिल्कुल ही हेवायर्ड. So these are three categories where you have to face. But at times, like मेरी एक दोस्त कहती थी, don't make friction, don't make waves. And she was always very कि चलो भाई सब कर रहे हैं तो कर लो, मतलब क्या waves create करना क्या. And I try to understand her at this time कि वो सही कहती थी in a way कि not to make waves, लेकिन जहाँ पे existence का मसला आता है, जहाँ आपकी वजूद को खतरा होता है, फिर इंसान वहाँ एक्शन लेता है. So that is my take. It is a very hard topic and hard thing to do. लेकिन humbleness, kindness, purity and honesty से आप अपनी energy vibrate करते हैं, तो शायद most of the people they receive that, and then they know you. So that is my take on this. So I thought I will, before I leave home, then I should participate.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
बिल्कुल. और आई थिंक बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स थे इस कॉल में. क्वेश्चन हम ज़रूर आंसर करेंगे शहनाज जी, उसमें पूरा एक सेगमेंट है, वहाँ जब हम पहुँचेंगे तब ये सवाल का जवाब मैं ज़रूर दूंगी कि कुछ लोग जो ऐसे होते हैं जो मैनिपुलेट करके या अपनी आवाज़ इतनी ऊंची कर देते हैं कि सारी आवाज़ें दब जाती हैं, तो उनका भी आंसर हम देंगे. बट येस, इट्स ट्रू कि समटाइम्स सम पीपल do not like very upfront, blunt people. And then again, that depends, as you said, Shanaz ji, on how you say it. Because I don't think we want to be led by somebody who always agrees. In fact, I read a metaphor very recently, which I hope I remember it correctly, but I'd like to interject that over here. It's like you are in an aircraft, okay? The pilot makes an announcement on the plane saying that we cannot reach Los Angeles. That's where you were supposed to go. The aircraft was headed there, and we need to, make an emergency landing elsewhere, and everything's okay, but we will not be able to go to LA today. And then everybody starts screaming, what is this? And I have a meeting, and how dare you? And this is not good. And every time there's a technical, and there's so much of abuse and chaos in the cabin that quickly you hear the pilot making another announcement saying, okay, relax, we are going to LA. Now, how do you feel? Because you don't want to be led by somebody who's going to give in to pressure and say, oh, okay, you're upset. Okay, let's just go to LA. Forget the emergency. We'll still make a landing. You want somebody who's resilient, who's going to face all of that turbulence and still say, I'm sorry, this is not good for you. And I'm not going to be able to take you to LA today.
So, take charge.
Yeah, right? That's the kind of leader, manager that we all want. That's the kind of colleague we all want, who will call us out in a nice way and say, hey, ye sahi nahi hai, ye aise try karo, ye waise try karo. So being upfront and blunt, I do not think is a flaw. In fact, it's one of a very essential quality in a leader. However, the way you put that across,
that's key.
That is absolutely vital. And आज जो भी मैं stories share करूँगी या जो भी solutions हम discuss करेंगे, I think that's based on my entire work experience, because having spent a decade in corporate learning and development and doing corporate coaching, and now also with the coaching angle, sometimes doing a lot of these, workshops and team building projects that I travel for, I think has given me a vast experience and a first-hand view into how people think and how companies thrive and how we can make it a better place for everybody.
Yeah, I think it's also important to see different styles, what different people want from their work experience. Okay, everybody has a different personality and everybody has a different goal.
Absolutely.
As a manager, you have to figure out what are different people's goals, give them that environment within the context of the broader vision.
Absolutely.
Right? And then what you're doing is uh, you're creating an environment where people want to perform, not just that they have to perform.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल और वो जो environment की बात की, that is so crucial because it reminds me of an incident that I was there to witness. This was about a colleague. Let's just call him Arif. Okay, so Arif was working alongside, and the office was like, it was a fancy office, state of the art, good, decent salary, and everything was going fine. And it's just that every time, we as a team were in the midst of our manager, we didn't know whether we are going to be ridiculed for something that we've not done, or something that she feels is not right. And still, it was a job that you would kind of post on LinkedIn about because it was a great company and everything. One fine day, Arif, who was doing really well, he just all of a sudden quit. So everybody was like, oh my God, what happened to Arif? And da 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 da. Now, much later, I'm talking about like at least 6 months later, I happened to meet him at a common friend's place. And he said, Tasneem, I just didn't know whether I was going to get respect on a day or ridicule. And I just couldn't risk that anymore. So I just felt that it's eventually not about the paycheck, but loyalty is built in the moments when you feel safe where you're working, where the people that, how they breathe when the manager walks into the room, the one who's leading the whole environment. So you can probably rent someone's time, but you will need to earn their energy. Otherwise, they're going to drop out.
That is very, very well said. And I really love what you said, that at any given time, I didn't know whether I was going to get respect or ridicule. Respect is such a big factor in the way you deal with people.
Absolutely.
Right? And where they find that they are not being respected is where that loyalty breach happens. And then you tend to lose people. Sometimes you lose the best people. When that happens. Let's take a caller. Radio Azad, you're on the air.
Ji, Assalamu alaikum, Ayesha and Tasneem.
Walaikum assalam.
Our dream team.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. Well, yeah, this is like मेरा भी पिछले 30+ years का है, जिसमें I was an employee, I was a manager, I was an owner for, a business and all those things. And it is to get the respect as a manager or a boss, you have to respect your employees also. And you also have to see, as Aisha आपने भी mention किया, कि what your employees want, what their goals are, and have open communication के भी how you are going to reach the goals. Like मेरा जो है, जब मैं अभी काम करती हूँ, तो then I have my own goals before they give me their goals. Then I tell them, and usually my goals are higher than their goals. And then they really don't have to, like now I'm going to work just 10 hours for the skincare company, and they are not hiring a full-time person for that line until this, because they want to find something who has the same work ethics like me.
And that's why they are just giving me, those hours, and they are, so that gives me that, okay, I am a good employee.
Mm-hmm.
And if some people have to work with me, you know, I prefer to listen, okay, what their goals are and then what my goals are also.
Mm-hmm.
And at work, as a team, we have a lot of other lines like skincare and makeup lines. तो अगर सिर्फ हम अपने उसके ऊपर ही वो करेंगे, so then you are not going to get the support with other people also. They are not going to bring people to you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you work as a team, then you can intersell also, and you are helping them reach their goal, and they are helping you reach your goals also.
This is such an important point, Shahida ji, and we'll talk about this.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. So there are this being a team player, okay, and helping each other out is something that I've observed in people. Either you do it, you have it, or you don't. Okay,
Yeah.
people feel very, very insecure, and I've seen nowadays it's just me, me, me. It's all about myself. That concept of, you know, helping somebody else and then letting everybody advance, I feel is becoming few and far
Scarce.
between.
Yeah, and
Why is that, Tasneem? That's one point that I want to talk to you about. The other question that I have for you is, Shahida ji mentioned about work ethic. Why is it that some people have such a great work ethic and for other people it's just loosey-goosey all the time?
Yeah, so I think, for the second question, I would say we need to dive in as to why. Why are they loosey goosey all the time? Is there something that is not serving their purpose in this environment? There will have to be a gap somewhere. And when we talk about the motivations segment, I think that is very key over there, because what is driving them to be loosey goosey versus ethical and and committed and dedicated? And I always say, for the first thing that you were saying, that if you want to, you'll go a certain distance if you go alone. If you want to walk far, you'll have to walk together. So those who feel that, nahi, I, me, myself, ye maine kiya hai, they will just work solo. Yeah, maybe they will get ahead in life and faster than you feel that you are. But if you catch them 10 years later, you will be way ahead of the game than they are.
Yeah.
Because they will have only been able to go this far.
Right. And I think also we see different people's personalities, right? There's some who are so responsible.
Yeah.
There's some who are just going to do the bare minimum at their jobs, right? There's some who will be like, oh, we'll show up when we feel like. There's some who are just driven by cozying up to the boss.
Bilkul.
There are some who are just, they've got this amazing sense of responsibility. So we see all these people, right, put together in this environment, and how they all they all have a different role to play, and how they all play differently in that environment. And then that's where the whole crux of the whole thing is how do you manage all these different levels of motivation, of drivenness and goals.
Bilkul. And I think that's the true test of being an effective manager, which actually gets me to my next question, which is, who was the best manager or colleague that you have ever had in your life? So I want qualities here, not job titles. And it's like I want to crowdsource greatness. We're looking for qualities, which will then answer the first question I asked, which is, every Monday morning, would your team choose you? Because then we can take a reflective check on, do I have some, all, none of these qualities that we are looking for? So if I had to think of the best manager I've had in my life, I think some of the qualities were inclusivity.
Yeah.
She was very inclusive. She was very, how should I say, open to communication about my growth. Whether my growth was slow, that's another thing, because yes, it still was, but the fact that she was open to discussing it made me feel seen and heard. You please add on as
Okay.
I'm thinking too.
I think I've been very lucky throughout my life is because I've had some incredible bosses.
Okay, that's great.
And for me, I think they believed in me to a large extent where even I didn't see these qualities, but they saw it and they gave me these opportunities.
Okay. Yeah. So
That
there was seeing the potential. That's
seeing the
also
potential. I think I've always worked in a very collaborative way with my bosses. Um, so they have always respected my abilities and given me tasks to do and presented me and have me present to senior management, a lot of times whereas it was not my position to do that. But we've always worked as a team.
Yeah.
So I've absolutely loved that. And I think respect, kindness, confidence, those have been some of the biggest qualities that I have found. I feel that it's these softer skills that managers have these days is what keeps an organization together and keeps that organization moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay. So many lines blinking. Let's take them one by one. Radio Azad, you're on the air.
जी आयशा एंड तस्नीम। आयशा आप बिल्कुल सही कह रही हैं। मुझे अपनी या तस्नीम ने जो सवाल किया उसके हिसाब से कि मुझे वो बॉस मेरी याद है जो शी वाज ऑलवेज रेडी टू लिसन एंड शी वुड डिस्कस ऑल द पॉइंट्स एंड देन लेट मी नो कि ये पॉइंट्स क्यों हम नहीं कर सकते, ये क्यों कर सकते हैं। सो शी वाज वेरी ऑनेस्ट, ओपन एंड रेडी टू लिसन। सो वो क्वालिटी के शी इंक्लूड या इंक्लूसिवनेस बहुत जरूरी है कि हर एक को ये हो कि मैं जिस चीज के लिए, जिस कंपनी के लिए, जिस शख्स के लिए काम कर रहा हूँ, he or she is ready to listen to me and he tries to benefit not only the company or company's profit but everybody around. So that वो feeling जिसमें ये हो कि मैं जहाँ काम कर रहा हूँ मुझे वहाँ पे समझा जा रहा है। एंड लॉयल्टी इज वन ऑफ द बेस्ट क्वालिटी। मैं अपने 22-25 साल मैं अपने हस्बैंड के साथ काम कर रही हूँ। So he totally depends on me. He knows that if he is not there, I will do everything, whatever is possible.
Yeah.
So he has no doubt in his mind कि मैं वो चीज नहीं करूंगी उनकी गैर मौजूदगी में। So that is the trust we develop and that trust make you कि आपको वो सारे फैक्टर्स हेल्प करे कि मैं शख्स पे रिलाय कर सकता हूँ, ये शख्स वफादार है और रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी उठा लेगा।
But it's also...
आयशा एक सवाल आपसे, सॉरी, इसी से रिलेटेड करना था कि आप देखा जाए तो यू आर ऑल्सो मैनेजर ऑफ योर टीम ऑफ रेडियो आजाद। सो हर शख्स जो है डिफरेंट लेवल पे खड़ा है, लेकिन क्या आपको मैं सवाल ये है कि इफ यू सेट द रूल्स and if you set the boundaries, if you clear everything, still you face the problem कि कुछ लोग उसको भी understand नहीं करते।
बिल्कुल।
Okay.
Yes, absolutely, which is a struggle we have.
So that is not because the level of understanding, perception and interpretations of every brain is so different.
Yeah, and different personalities, Shahnaz ji. There's some who are so responsible. They will follow every rule and I always laugh about it. I feel it's the old timers who follow the instructions to a T. But it's the younger folks we have an issue with.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
okay.
So I feel it's also, and we've done a show on this, right? Gen Z and millennials and all that.
So does it, Tasneem, say does it depend on the emotional and age factor? With age and with emotions, when they calm down, you get more essence of the thing, what the person is saying.
Wisdom obviously, I mean, I think experience होगा फिर ही wisdom आएगा ना। आप experience से reflect करेंगे, learn करेंगे, फिर wisdom आएगा।
कि young generation के साथ
But I mean, I wouldn't want to generalize that and say that हाँ भाई ऐसे ही है। But yeah, on a generalized level, yes, wisdom comes with reflection on experience, and experience obviously will come with age. but I've seen very, very young people who are extremely dedicated and committed.
Yes.
And
a lot
Yes.
of it is personality driven rather than age driven, Shahnaz ji.
Okay. But I will tell my nephews who are twins, when I talk to them, I don't feel like I'm talking to a 22, 23 years old young boys.
yeah,
They always understand, they get the point, they give their input. So yes, it depends on how your vision or eyes are open.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Radio Azad, you're on the air.
Yeah, Aisha.
Ji.
I was just thinking about that. Really, मेरी जिंदगी में I think there are four bosses. I really, any given time, I will like them to have to be my boss, and I think they will like me to be their employee also, or they will encourage me of that. For all four of them, really, I didn't even have to give them my resume. They hired me for references.
Yeah.
From the references. And then after that, they were like, one time, one of the boss, I asked her, I said, well, you go to other counters and you never come to my counter, And she said, well, you don't want me to come to your counter. And I said, why? She said, because you're doing what you're supposed to do. And it gave me such a nice thing. And then whenever, like I was doing something like I sold, they had competition, like, sell this much or this, or build the sale. And if I built the sale from one lipstick to like $1,000, and I was just going to her and I was telling her, and as I was excited, she was more excited for me also.
Isn't that the best feeling?
Exactly, that and that's why I was just thinking, yes, it started from Nostrum, so that was like that. Then, this Barbara, then I had Leticia, who is like now when I said, okay, I'm going to stop working full time, but I am going to look for some freelancing hours. And my Leticia, who I worked with her also for 10 years, and she said, okay, just give me the date and I will give you the hours.
Wonderful.
I didn't even, so, right now the work company I'm working for, she's like my son's age. जो लड़की है मेरी बॉस जो है लेकिन she understands my ethics and my work ethics and everything, so she is willing to hire to not to hire somebody until December and find somebody who will have the same work ethics. And अगर मैं स्पास वगैरह वो कर रही हूँ, arrange कर रही हूँ, and if something doesn't show up or it doesn't give the results, and I tell her I am doing the best. And she said, Shay, you don't even have to tell me. I know that you don't stop until you get the results. You have done everything in your power.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing, Shahida ji.
If I have last minute cancellations, then I don't let it like, oh, it canceled. I'm still calling people.
Yeah. That just tells me about your work ethic that you have, and your manager jo hai really cherishes that, right, and appreciates that. I have seen so many people jahan pe they have very loyal employees, but the bosses tend to also have hidden agendas.
Absolutely.
And when they cut that process of open communication, when they start stonewalling, when they start playing games, all that kind of stuff, they lose those loyal employees. And that's something that they don't realize.
It's definitely a two-way street.
Yes. Loyalty is a very big factor.
Gee.
Employees need to feel heard. This is what I have gathered from our listeners as well. What do you think are some of the biggest myths about managing people?
अब ये तो एक पैंडोरास बॉक्स है, तो हम खोलेंगे तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें निकलेंगी, बट टाइम को नज़र रखते हुए आई जस्ट वांट टू शेयर 3 एंड देन इफ यू हैव फ्यू प्लीज फील फ्री टू ऐड. बट फॉर मी the 3 most important ones that I wanted to talk about today is first that motivation is about perks. Motivation is about meaning. It is not about perks. It is about purpose. So aap kitne bhi, like just recently, I think 2 years ago, there was a company that I was training with, and the company, there was too much of people leaving. And they said, what is it that we can do? So they started having this Friday free pizza, and then there was this dress up, and Friday you can wear what you want, and all of that. And while that was great, people appreciated it, took some pictures and ate the free pizza, but people were still leaving. And I think in one of the exit interviews, I was told that the lady did say that, it's not that I don't appreciate the pizza, but I can't eat a slice of pizza and forget that my ideas are never heard. So I feel that the thing is that, yes, okay, that pizza is a perk, but what about the purpose? Until you do not give your team or that individual purpose that someone is making a difference, they will not be able to continue in your leadership.
A great point.
So that's one. So it's like when you feed the person's stomach, but they're hungry for something else. So then you're not serving the purpose. The second is, I feel loyalty, जिसकी हमने बहुत सारी बातें की है beginning में. हम सोचते हैं कि loyalty is about tenure. कि मेरे साथ 10 साल गुजारे हैं, मेरे साथ 15 साल ये मेरे साथ रहे हैं, तो बहुत लॉयल हैं. वो उसके reasons to be loyal can be entirely different. It could be the circumstances which just has the individual stick it in there, even whether they like it or not. Loyalty for me is about emotional ROI, emotional return of investments. People stay where they feel they matter. At the end of the day, that's about it. And the third thing is that managing people is about fixing people. Sorry.
Myth.
Yeah. Big myth. It's about amplifying what already works. You really take that individual, think about that individual, and see what they're doing really well, amp that up. Amp that up to such an extent that they keep repeating that behavior, which is really working for your organization or your vision, your goal. Therefore, that by itself will make them more eager to lessen the things which is not working in their personality, in their work, in whatever it is. But if you just zone into fixing the things which you feel, oh, this is not right about this person, fix it, they're going to get fed up and leave.
You can't change people.
Beyond a point.
Yeah. And my point actually goes alongside that, because there is a myth that a good manager knows everything. And that's really not true. A good manager knows how to leverage the team's strengths, right? What each person brings to the table.
Absolutely.
And then gives them actually what they want, leverages their strengths to further the mission of the organization. That's and everybody likes to do what they're good at, right? So that's one myth. The other one is that fear is the best motivator, and I think that is something that's very, very wrong, especially in today's day and age. It's trust, it's respect, and it's recognition, which is what drives loyalty and motivation.
Yeah, again, because as I said, loyalty is not कि कौन तुम्हारे साथ ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा बर्दाश्त करके साथ है. Loyalty is about emotional ROI. And every time you do something contrary to that, you're making a withdrawal from that bank. And eventually your account will be empty and the person will leave.
Yes, I think a lot of times managers do things for short-term purposes, but they don't see the long-term
vision.
Yeah, the long-term vision on how to manage those people.
Yeah. जैसे हमने ये जो beginning में बात की थी कि आरिफ इतना सारा सब कुछ अच्छा था, like fancy place, decent money, everything was great, but eventually आप अगर उसकी long term potential को नहीं देख के, उसको इतना नीचा दिखा के every given point उसको fix करने की कोशिश करके, eventually he left, right?
Yeah. I had a great manager when I was an intern, and I was doing this huge project for the whole state of Maryland's health department. And in those, so my boss came up to me and he's like, Aisha, I think you can look at this data. I'll get you all the data, and I think you can analyze it and come up with the report. And I was like, me, I'm just an intern. And he's like, no, I think you can do it. And I worked on the data and I gave it to him, and they were all like, wow. I mean, you're talking about like these hotshot researchers and heads of departments and everything. And they took this data and they were like, okay, we want you to present it to all the heads of the health department who are coming, and all that. It's a 2-day conference that we're hosting, da 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 da. Now what happened was, I had actually made a mistake in analyzing that data, and it was a simple technical error. Like, instead of column A, I had put column B, and so the numbers changed. Now this is the sign of a great manager. He took this data home and he took the report, and I had made all this fantastic PowerPoint, and he said, something is not right. He said, the numbers add up, but the data doesn't make sense. So he said, I spent the whole night, Aisha, thinking about it. And he said, go back and look at this column. And I went back, and he was absolutely correct. Right. So the data did not add up, and he, being the head of the department, understood that the numbers did not make sense.
Yeah.
So he said, okay, go back and check it. And I checked it, and lo and behold, yes, it was column
Switched.
Yeah. And I made the switch, and then I redid the numbers for him, and he's like, see, now it makes a lot of sense. But the way he handled that mistake of mine was
so priceless.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah, he could have just said that, this is where the mistake is, and how could you have done it?
Yeah.
Instead, he just guided you towards it, and then asked you to discover it on your own.
Yes, and he instilled like so much confidence in me. Of course, I was beating myself up about it. I'm like, oh my God, ये मैं कैसे मैंने कर दिया, मैंने 10 दफा check भी किया था इसको. But mistakes happen, right? And but he didn't take that project away from me, or he didn't bring in somebody else. He just said, okay, there is an error, you find it, you fix it. And I did that. And then he still had me present that data to these head of the 12 county health departments and everything. And they were like reacting to the data because of the data itself. And Tasneem, he stood behind our work. He didn't throw me to the dogs, okay, yes, the numbers are not coming out in your favor, or anything like that. He stood behind our work. So I will never, ever, ever forget that. On the other hand, I've had another manager when I was working. It was actually my boss's boss. And she was known to be vicious, like very, very vicious. Everybody was very scared of her, but for some reason she wouldn't cross the line with me. It was very strange. I think she had taken some liking to me. And I still remember at a meeting, she tore into all the senior vice presidents who were there. And when it came to my turn, she started saying something to me, and then she suddenly stopped, and then she apologized in front of everybody. And she's like, I'm really sorry, I shouldn't have spoken that way to you. And I was like, it's okay, it's fine. And then she said, come and see me afterwards, and let's work on this, whatever the information was. And literally she sent me, in those days there were no text messages, but she picked up the phone and she called me, and then she called me into the office and she said, I'm really sorry, I should not have spoken to you like that. I don't know whether it's because we were two women in a room full of men or what it was, but how you have that misconception about how women bosses are, and they're overly aggressive. So she was definitely one of those. But for some reason with me, she really respected that boundary.
Absolutely. Yeah. Two great examples then. That just gets me to say this, that see, being great manager or managing people does not mean that, okay, I don't want it to sound as if, oh, so you only highlight the good and you only make them feel nice and you only, trust and respect and kindness and all of that. So when is the growth going to happen? So when I see something that's not working, that's detrimental to the progress of the company, the goal, the vision, I'm not supposed to say anything because, oh my God, return on investment, loyalty will be affected. No, of course not. But here you heard two great examples of how that was handled. And in fact, the same manager that I was talking about, who is my fondest memory, she was very inclusive and very open and very growth centric to my progress as well, along with the companies. I also remember her to be extremely nitpicky. Like if I was working on a project, she would take out 10 things. I think we need to make it more interactive. I think we need to do this better. I think we need to add something here. There has to be a visual here. So much so that it used to drive me crazy that I've finished working on it. Now again, I'm sitting on it again. But trust me, at the end of all her inputs, that presentation or that training used to be so amazing that I really owe her a lot for the amazing workshops I do today. Alhamdulillah. Because I have learned so much from the very fact that she would go back and say, no, take a look again. See how you can make this better. See how you can make it crisper. See how you can make it more fun and interactive. And that taught me a lot about what I do today. So it's not about not making people do better at their job. It's about how you do it.
Worth its weight in gold.
So,
It is absolutely how you do it. You're listening to Doubleshot Espresso on Radio Azad. Do download the Radio Azad iPhone or Android app to listen to our live shows, and follow our podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts as well. We will be talking in part 2, how to win at work relationships, coming